Welcome to my YouTube channel, One Race, Human Race, All Human. Today is Saturday, December 26, 2020. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Three Kings Day, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Life. Here's where we are in politics in America based upon the Southern strategy, which really began in 1619. Don't have time to go into all that, but check out the Southern strategy. Here's where we are right now because of the Southern strategy, which means what? Getting people to vote against their own self-interest based upon something stupid like the shade of someone's skin. Unbelievable, but it has worked and it continues to work. All right. Well, President Trump now saying he wants $2,000 for stimulus checks. The first thing the Democrats should be saying is that they passed the HEROES Act back in 2020, which was a $3 trillion bill. $3 trillion. Not this, $900 billion bill they have today. Okay. Second, work with President Trump. Work with him right now. Go to the White House, sit down, and work out the $2,000 checks to Americans. Now, first of all, we should be like Canada and give $2,000 checks a month to all Americans. That's what should be going on right now. It'll help our people in America. It'll help the economy during this pandemic. And it's the morally right thing to do, to care about people, to have love and compassion, to follow Jesus Christ in Matthew chapter 25 and throughout the Bible. You call yourself a Christian? Then do Christian things. Love God, love your neighbor as yourself. Who's your neighbor? Read Luke chapter 10 about the Good Samaritan. And the Good Samaritan is the hero of the story. And he's half Jewish and half Arab, right? The minister messes up, the deacon messes up, but the Samaritan shows compassion on the person who needed help. And that's what we must do. If you call yourself a Christian, then show love and compassion for people in the land of the living. Christ said in John 10:10, I am come that they might have life and have it more abundantly. Let's work to make the abundant life, the best life, a great life for all people here in America and throughout the world. Now, there is a campaign going on right now in Georgia, right? And the Democrats may win or they might lose. Now, if they win, you might be able to pass more bills with President Biden, right? If they lose, it'll be the same thing that happened to President Obama, right, during the after the midterm elections, right, where Mitch McConnell said that, in the beginning he said we're going to try to make him a one-term president. Anyway, the point is that right now you Democrats have leverage. Your messaging has not been the best when it comes to the HEROES Act. People don't even know about it, and the $3 trillion, and how you tried to help people, okay? Right now, do the same thing. Help people by saying, yes, we're with the $2,000, meet with President Trump, all right, and then let Mitch McConnell be the one to say, no, we don't want to pass this, okay? So the American public know that you Democrats are doing the best that you can to help the people. Now, let me say this about progressivism. Those Congress people who are in favor of Medicare for all, they all won their re-elections. Yes, the Democrats lost seats in the House at the midterm elections in November 2020, right? But that was because of what? That's because they lost what? Conservative Democrats. Now, again, what do we need to do? Right now, you need to negotiate with President Trump to get the $2,000, okay? And try to get $2,000 a month for the American people, all right? Now, don't forget, there are 66 million poor or low-wealth white Americans, okay? And about, 25 million poor or low-wealth African-American Americans. These are all the same people. There's one race, the human race. They all need help. You have your greatest power right now to pass legislation to help the American public. Use that power to help people because you might not win, okay, on January 5th down in Georgia. Or then again, you might win. But right now, we have to deal with the political situation we're in at this very, very moment. Work together and get these Americans their checks. I call them survival checks. $2,000 a month, survival checks to help the American people.
President-elect Joe Biden is now urging President Trump to sign the $900 billion COVID relief bill passed by Congress. Biden just releasing a statement saying it is the day after Christmas and millions of families don't know if they'll be able to make ends meet because of President Donald Trump's refusal to sign an economic relief bill approved by Congress with an overwhelming and bipartisan majority. 12 million Americans are set to lose key unemployment benefits. The government could run out of money, and eviction protections will expire unless President Trump signs the relief bill. Joining me right now is Congressman Vicente Gonzalez, a Democrat from Texas. He is also a member of the bipartisan House Problem Solvers Caucus. Good to see you, Congressman.
Good afternoon, Federica. Good to be here.
How worried are you about
the points that he's about to make should have been made during the campaign to the American public to let them realize that the Democratic Party is a party on the side of the American people and helping the American people, right? It's not just about businesses. Businesses are important, though, and they need help. And they need their money also. Let's help businesses and help the American public, both.
This bill not being signed by the president?
Well, we're all very worried. Millions of Americans are struggling. Millions of Americans can't pay their rent at the end of the month, can't put food on the table. A lot of unemployed folks in my district and across the country are going through some of the toughest times in modern day history, and the president continues to play games with people's lives. So we're very worried. We hope he comes to his senses soon and signs this bill into law. We know that it's not enough.
That's what they should have done in throughout the country and gone to these white working class areas and talk to the people, talk honestly, intelligently, and let them know that, look, we have bills that are going to help you. Yes, it's going to help the inner city also and other people, but guess what? You're in the same boat. It doesn't matter what color you are. There's one race, the human race. Unless you deal with the Southern strategy and the racist Southern strategy, Democrats will always lose and keep on losing. Because racism works, right? It works, okay? And you've seen that, how it's worked. Not just, don't blame President Trump, he didn't invent it, okay? But it's been going on for centuries, all right? But you've seen it work in the decades past, all right? And the problem with the Democratic Party is they don't want to recognize it and deal with it. Deal with it. Be honest with people. And guess what? Your white Americans will vote with you where they should be voting with you, okay? And not against you, but with you. Voting in their own self-interest.
Help to the people who are struggling. $600 is not what we wanted to give. We were trying to do $1,200. We're ready to do $2,000. If he really wants to help the American people, he should sign this immediately. And we can add another spending bill next week to supplement the American people who are struggling. It's something that I think most folks want to do on the Hill. People on both sides of the aisle. People have been a little quiet on the press.
Now hold it. Now let's take a look at this logically. You passed a $3 trillion bill back in May 2020. President was against it, and so was the Republican Party. What's changed right now? Well, the only thing that's changed right now is the president's in favor of what? $2,000. So work with the president to pass that $2,000 bill for American public. Give them the credit, okay? Doesn't matter who gets the credit. And pass an extremely wonderful bill, a $3 trillion bill, an excellent bill, okay, to help the American public. You have the leverage right now to do that. Use that leverage, all right? It's a small window of time to do that.
But I think they need to step it up on the other side and really communicate the message that people are hurting in every district around the country, and we need this help today.
I'm wondering, is it your feeling that the president doesn't understand the process, that $600 could come now, or signing the bill could come now, and that there can be more action next week to
Let me just make this point about understanding the process and not understanding the process. Meaning what? Is the president competent, right? What if this was President Obama? What if the coronavirus happened during President Obama's watch? What if President Obama had lost 330,509 people? What would they have said? What would have been done if he was president, right? So you have something called white skin privilege going on right here. But I don't have time to get into all that, okay?
Promise somewhere upwards of that $2,000 to people, or do you feel like he's motivated by something else?
Well, I think he's trying to stay relevant in his final days in office. Clearly, there's a motivation to try to waive liability to some corporate liability to wrongdoers out in the business community. So there's other people probably talking in his ear, but the fact is people are struggling right now, today. Rent is due. Food needs to be put on the American people's tables. Small businesses are going through really, really tough times. There was a PPP forgiveness process, which was in this bill. So we were going to be able to forgive loans under $150,000 to the smallest businesses that are struggling the most. And there was going to be a new round of PPP loans. That all needs to take place.
So here's my point that the Democrats need to point out to the American public. Hey, all these things to help the American public was passed back in May 2020. And the American public is not aware of it, all right? Because the messaging has been horrible, okay? So you had a $3 trillion bill back in May 2020. What's changed? What's changed is that right now, President Trump wants what? To give everyone $2,000. You can use that leverage to pass an excellent bill to help the American public.
As you know, the moratorium on evictions is fixing to expire. Everyone is struggling in this country, and the president needs to wake up. The American people need to put more pressure on their representatives, on their senators. Republicans need to stand up to the president and assure that he does what's appropriate and right for the American people in the most needy times.
That's a great point that he's making, but here's the political reality. In November 2020, the Democrats lost seats in the House of Representatives, right? And right now, we don't know who's going to have control of the United States Senate. And so it's a matter of teaching people that they have to vote in favor of their own self-interest. But the Southern strategy has been used in such a manner and fashion where people vote against their own self-interest. So you have people who are going to be kicked out right now of their homes who voted the wrong way, voted against their own selves in November 2020. You can reach these people, but you have to do it by honestly speaking to them all the time and letting them know that, one, they're important. Two, it doesn't matter what color someone's skin is, that if you're a poor white or a poor black, you're both in the same boat, okay? And you both need the same economic help, or Latino or Asian. Doesn't matter, all right? That's what you have to deal with. Until you deal with that, you're going to keep on losing as you've lost these decades and decades and decades and decades and decades that you've been losing Democratic Party. The book to read on this is Dog Whistle Politics, How Coded Racial Appeal Has Reinvented Racism and Wrecked the Middle Class by Professor E. Hanny Lopez. That's one of the books that you can read. Listen to Dr. King's speech from, March 25th, 1965, where he talks about the 19th century, how poor whites and poor blacks were working together, voting together, economically coming together, and then what happened, they brought in segregation to divide people and to say, hey, don't work with these people of color because you have white skin. And that has worked. That's what the scholars have said. That's what Dr. King has said, and others have said. Do your homework, do your research, okay?
On that eviction moratorium, we're talking about upwards of 7 million Americans who are, staring at potentially being kicked out of their apartments in January. What are you hearing directly from some of your constituents about their frustration, their disappointment of not coming so close to maybe getting $600 and might be excited about the idea of what the president has about $2,000, but are worried that they may get neither at this point?
Well, Federico, I get calls every day from people who are going through really tough times in my district, and we all know $600 is enough. It's not enough. It's just going to put a Band-Aid on the problem, but we can continue to work towards helping people until we get inoculated, hopefully in the first quarter or first half of next year, and get the economy open again. I see brighter days ahead of us with President Biden in office and somebody who is used to working with people across the aisle and have more peace on Capitol Hill and more agreements and do more work for the American people, which is what they want. They want us to work with each other, and we want to work with each other. It's been a struggle. The divisiveness and destruction and death that's been created by this administration is something that we've never seen before in this country. We need to come back together. We need to unite our country. We need to help the American people today. Hope the president is listening and signs this bill immediately and gets the help that people need today. The unemployment insurance that they're losing this week as of tonight, midnight tonight. People are struggling, and those struggles are real.
And while you say you remain hopeful in what you believe will be, brighter days ahead with a new administration, it's still going to take some time to get there, with some 20-something days before inauguration. But
it's something to be optimistic for.
Yeah, how do you stay optimistic? I mean, what are you optimistic about in these mere 30 days left?
Well, I'm optimistic that we're beginning a new chapter in our history, and we're getting out of this dark period. And I'm optimistic of this vaccine inoculating tens of millions of Americans, and hopefully by mid next year, our economy is open and cranking again, and people are back to work. Our stock market is up, and we continue to be the prosperous country that we've been for a generation or two, and that we continue to be the beacon of hope to the world. And I think not only are Americans yearning for a new beginning, I think the world is yearning for a new beginning of America.
All right, Congressman Vicente Gonzalez, we'll leave it there for now. Best to you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you.
Stay safe. Thank you. All right, coming up.